Hey, it's Jeff, the part number guy, and in today's video, we're going to talk about smart part numbers and what the heck are they. Um, I was talking to my mother the other day, and she always asks, of course, how business is and what's going on and whatnot. And I over time explained to her what we do in terms of, helping manufacturers to create smart part number systems and leverage that to create product data and costing and pricing and to help them sell and quote their products faster. And she goes, "That's wonderful, Jeff, but what's a smart part number?" And I started to realize that maybe I take for granted my knowledge of smart part numbers, and I thought maybe I could share some of the stuff of what I know. So we figured we'd start a little series on smart part numbers and a few of the things you can do with them to really leverage the power of them. So first, actually, I'd like to go into a little history. So I started getting interested in part numbers right out of college. I got a job at Coca-Cola, and I was a sales guy there. And I went in to put in my first order for a customer, and I'm like, okay, this guy needs some Coke, and who I'm working with, he says, well, what's the SKU? And I'm like, I don't know, what's a SKU? And I later learned that it's a stock keeping unit, but at the time, he explained to me, he says, well, every product and how it's packaged has a unique number so that you use that number every time and the customer gets the same thing every time. Um, because there's, a 12 pack of cans of Coke, there's a 6 pack, there's a 2 liter bottle. You can buy 6 2 liter bottles in a package, all kinds of different things. Each one has a unique identifying number. So this was fascinating to me then, and then I left Coke and I started a fiber optic cable assembly business with my family, and the part numbers there got ridiculous because there's so many possible combinations. Fiber cable assemblies had literally had billions of combinations of products, so billions of possible part numbers, and we had to figure out a way how to deal with this. And this is kind of where we stumbled across smart part numbers, mostly by looking through different catalogs and seeing these part number legends where you kind of put it together. So that's where we first got interested in smart part numbers. And what I'd like to do is take you through a little example here. So imagine, if you will, if you were a manufacturer of rope assemblies, and a rope assembly is simply a piece of rope cut to a specific length, and then on each end we're going to put some sort of device, and that could be a hook, a loop, a clasp. And you'll see here that you could have different sizes of rope. So the diameter of the rope could be different. So you have a customer call and says, "Hey, I want a rope assembly that is 6 meters long, and I want a hook on both ends." So you need an identifying part number with that. So let's take a look and see how that would look. So first, let's take a piece of rope, and then I think we said there, let's go with a hook on one end. So your customer wants a hook on one end and he wants a loop on the other end. So the other factor is we have to figure out what is the length, right? So let's just say in this example, we're going to say it's X meters long. So we don't quite know the length yet. We'll define that in a second. So based on that, if we look at, the description of the product, and then what would a dumb part number look like, and what would a smart part number look like? So if we look at this, in this case that we're talking about, we said, okay, we wanted a 6 meter hook on one end and a loop on the other end, and we wanted a 3 millimeter diameter cable. So if we look at the dumb part number, so as long as it's unique, it's a good part number. Let's say it's 17832. Okay, that's just making something up. It could be serialized, so it could go in order from 32 to 33 and so on, but whatever. Now a smart part number is going to look a little bit different. It's probably going to be something like HL3-6. And at first, maybe that looks completely random. But the magic comes when we start adding other configurations to it. So let's say the next customer, or that same customer, says, hey, I need 2 assemblies, one 6 meters long, the other one is 3 meters long. So he's got 3 meter hook, loop, and 3 millimeter. The dumb one's going to be 18724 or something else sort of random, but the smart one's going to be HL3-3. So now we can start to see an association in the smart part numbers. We can see that this here represents this. Oh, sorry, not that. Represents this, and this here represents this. And we can probably also find some other relationships. But the key is, if I was to ask you now, okay, what is the part number for a 5 meter hook and loop? So we're going to go 5 meter hook to loop, 3 millimeter. We don't have any idea. If I asked you what the part number is, you don't have any idea, because you'd need to guess it up or look it up in some sort of book or database or search engine or catalog to find it, because it has to be assigned by somebody else. Now, the smart part number, though, you can probably guess is going to be HL3-5, because once again, all we need to do is change that. Now, I'm also going to guess that you're smart enough to figure out that if I said, hey, I want a 3 meter loop to loop 3 millimeter. Once again, we don't know what the dumb part number is, but the smart part number is probably LL3-3, because now we start to see the association between this and this and this and this and this and this. So if we look at it, and often the way a smart part number system will be represented in a catalog or PDF or on a website is something like this, where you've got a box for each character is going to represent a digit in the part number. So in this case, and let's take this case here, it is an HL3-5, right? And we can look at that and see that this is represented by a little table with options. And each table will show you what it represents. So this is end A, this is end B, this is the diameter of the rope, and this is the length. So, there's going to be different options. So we have here H, L, and C for hook, loop, and clasp. And it's going to be the same here on NB. And then you've got, 3, 5, and 10 millimeter for the rope diameter. So you can start to see there's an association between each thing, and you can build your part number simply by going through this and identifying what the code is that you want to use in the part number for the attribute of the product that you're looking for. So that is the kind of a summary of what a smart part number is. We love you working with smart part numbers is because we find there's a lot of power in them. Not only can your salespeople quote faster because they memorize these codes, or they can look them up quickly, enter them. Your customers can figure out what the smart part number is that they're looking for. They can request a quote saving everybody time. They can specify them without talking to anybody. But also further down the line, when you're trying to describe that to your manufacturing team and whatnot, everybody is on kind of the same page, and they can speak the same language and understand what product is you're talking about. So that is smart part numbers. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please you can drop me an email at partnumberguy@partfinity.com, or you can check out our website where you can see some of the magic that we make happen with smart part numbers at partfinity.com/partnumberguy. And I hope to see you in the next video.